Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do a quick video about, I guess this video is aimed to people that are doing a classic car or a classic truck or just a paint job themselves at home. And it's there's a substantial investment involved in that. If you're paying someone to do it, there's even a more substantial investment involved in that. So this is for the guy at home that's got a 68 Camaro or 72 Chevelle or whatever he's doing, or maybe even a little Opel or a frickin' Fiat or whatever you're doing, okay? This is my preferred method for starting on my bodywork, on my paint process, because there is always this there is hundreds of thousands of videos out there about epoxy, urethane, what to put on, when to put it on, how to put, oh my god, it's daunting. And every single one of those products are expensive, right? And you have to ask yourself, what am I going to be doing with this car? You know, am I going to be ripping this thing around on salted roads in Pennsylvania in December? No, probably not. Am I going to drive this in the summertime? Am I going to cruise it? It's going to get wet. Yes, you're going to wash it, right? I'm not going to cover like the seam sealing and spot blasting and none of that stuff. I'm going to cover like a panel that's stripped down to bare metal, metal worked, and then what I put on it from there. And what I'm using, and what I have been using for about 5 years now, is high build, direct to metal, epoxy, urethane, crossbreed primer. Okay, when I say crossbreed, it's a DTM high build urethane. But that direct to metal, it smells like epoxy. The hardener that goes in it is like an amber colored epoxy hardener. If you've ever used any epoxies, they have this kind of ambery, dark brown catalyst that goes in there. That's the hardener that goes in DTM urethanes. So the reason I do the urethanes is for a reason is like it's ease of use. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This is for a 64 C10 short bed that I'm working on. It is over in the corner. I'm not going to worry about showing it to you right now, but and I'm going to explain my process and the reason I'm doing it. And some of the reason is like it's cost effective. Okay, like I don't want to put fiber fill or not fiber fill, but I don't want to put polyester primer down and then block 90% of it off at almost $300 a gallon. I don't want to put epoxy down and then have to sand it to put my mud down at $250 a gallon, right? Like if you're at home and doing this stuff, that stuff can add up so fast. And what is the main objective here? To get a quality job for a reasonable price. And there's so many, you can watch so many YouTube videos out there, and the cars these guys are building are beautiful. They're $200,000 cars, you know? Do you have 200 grand you want to put into a paint job? I don't. I do this for a living, and no, I don't have that. I don't want that. I would never do that even if I had that. So, I use direct to metal urethane hybrid primers as my base layer because they are an epoxy base. So here's what I do, and here's why I do it. Okay, these are my bedsides, 64 Chevy C10, fleet side short bed. These panels were completely stripped down to bare steel. And the process is, if this was an epoxy, if this was a full epoxy, all the guys out there would agree with me, this is how you do it. You work all these spots you see were metal worked first from the back side and the front side using you can see my little dent puller over there, my Maxi, the Maxi pad. I worked all that stuff out, and this is just a glaze coat. I call it an initial filler coat over my DTM. Now, if this was epoxy, you would do the same exact thing I'm doing right here. You would do this, and then you would sand your low spots out like I've done, and you put your filler down. And then you go with your acrylic urethane on top of that after all your body work is done. But the reason I don't use epoxies anymore or straight epoxies, is because they are literally like sanding concrete, okay? They are like sanding. A good epoxy is so hard to sand. And I don't want to waste a pile of sandpaper, okay? Because all of this section of the bed sides were laser straight. These are original bed sides. They were in great shape. There is no reason for me to put any filler over any of this. There's no reason to do any of that. It's straight, okay? And my objective for the build is a nice driver quality paint job. So if you're at home and you want to do a nice driver quality, this is what I recommend doing. So if this was an epoxy, you would have to go through and sand all of this again for either your top coat, your sealer, your base, your clear, or you're going to put your 2K urethane on top of that. I like these crossbreeds because this stuff sands really nice, right? It's easy to sand, but it also gives you some corrosion protection of an epoxy. And I'm going to show you right here. You see, anyone who says that this stuff doesn't stick to steel and you can't put it direct to metal, do you see how where I've sanded here, it's completely feathered out and it is etched down into the bare steel? Like you are not going to get that off of there. You're just not going to do it, right? You can't get it off with the sandpaper. You can, obviously, but and I've got the corrosion protection under my filler as well, right? Like an epoxy. But when I go to do this, I'll finish all this out in 180, and then I'll put 2 more coats of the same exact DTM, so I'm only buying 1 product. I'll put it right on top of this. I'll let it flash. I'll start blocking it with some 220 down to 400, and then I'm ready for paint, and that's it. Another benefit of this is, like, inside of this tailgate jamb here, I don't need to do any body work here, right? This is factory original straight. Why wouldn't I put a product down there that I can put right on bare steel and that sands easily for finish coat? That's why I use them, is I'm literally skipping a step and it's giving me the exact same results. So this is the inside of them. And the nice thing about this stuff, you can put your filler right on top of it. And as per the TDS sheets, it says that you can do that. There is no open window on this though, which is like, if it was a true epoxy, some of them are 24 hours, some of them are 5 days, 6 days, whatever. You can put your filler right on top of it before you sand it, right? It's open, which means that it'll chemically bond without having to sand it. I still sand. It's like, I like having that mechanical peace of mind. But so yeah, I see these cars and they're glazed, completely done, and they're these incredible show cars, and oh my God, nobody, I'm not saying nobody, but the people I do work for, I'm not doing that style of work, okay? I'm doing quality, driver quality paint jobs. Driver quality paint jobs is like, they look really nice from 5 to 10 feet away. Like this little Alpha I'm doing, same thing. It got stripped down, it got the DTM, this stuff right on top of it, and then I'll start blocking this down. And I'm going to use the exact same product. Again, there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than having to sand the epoxy, put your filler down, and then sand the spots that don't necessarily need filler, just to put another product on top of it that may not stick to the metal. Like, what the it's gotten so ridiculously overly complicated that I'm just like, okay. So anyway, I've been using these DTMs. I'm gonna walk in the paint booth and I'm gonna show you what the hardener looks like, because I think that's important. Bear with me. Hold the phone. So I'll show you some other panels that I did yesterday, but this is what I'm using. This is a V-Series DTM activator. This is a Valspar product owned by Sherwin-Williams. This is what I'm using. All Valspar. I've had nothing but good luck with this stuff. Here is the product right here. Direct to metal surfacer, sealer gray. This is all I use. This is it. This is $112 a gallon. The hardener is $48, so you're at $162 somewhere in there for everything. You're not buying epoxies. You're not buying a bunch of urethane. You're not buying any of that. So let's see if I can get this off without putting my phone down. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. I'm just going to pour a little of this out. If anybody's ever seen an epoxy hardener, they're brown. That is what gives that's a lot of what gives it the corrosion resistant, is this etching style hardener, right? Well, this is a DTM primer that goes to that. Watch this. Look at. Watch what color it is. I don't want to pour a whole lot out. I don't want to waste it. Oh, what? Wait. It's the same color as epoxy. Same stuff. So if you're questioning, like, what should I use to get my vehicle straight on a fairly decent budget, like on a budget, I should say, not like fairly decent, but like you're doing it at home, this is a great product. I've had nothing but good luck with it. Here's some panels I did yesterday. Here's my wheel wells. And you see there's a few little dingers here and there. I roughed them out. This has all been DTM'd yesterday, and it's had 65 degrees all day, all night. I can't get it off of there, right? Why would you not? See the surface pitting and the rust, the sandblasting? I put a DTM right on top of all of that. It ain't going, it's not coming off of there. So anyway, maybe that answers some questions. Here's the front bedside panel. I got it. I rough them out. There's a few little dingers here and there. We'll fill those. Tailgate's the same. I got it straightened out. I roughed out some spots, and then I built this little raised panel for the back side of it because I didn't feel like finger sanding 9 other Chevrolet letters on the inside of the tailgate. So yeah, it's just one product. It's direct to metal primer surfacer. You are not going to get that stuff off of there. So, and you want to see how nice it sands? It sands like absolute butter. A little something something. I don't know what this is. This feels like 400 or 600. It's some 600. Okay. This is 600. I mean, I am barely pushing on it, right? It sands like a urethane. Feathers out really nice. It fills. Anyway, so I can now, after I get my mud work done, I can spot prime with this exact same product. I come in, sand it, finish sand it, and I'm done. It doesn't load up my sandpaper. Look at that. Anyway, maybe that's helpful if you're at home doing some work and you're like overwhelmed with what product to put on it. I highly recommend direct to metal epoxy urethane crossbreed is what they are. They're a crossbreed primer. I highly, highly recommend them. This was completely stripped down. Some people are going to say, "Oh no, those are not. They're not for large bare metal areas. You have to do an epoxy." I beg to differ. You absolutely do not have to do that. You 100% don't have to do that. But if you can, if you want to spend a pile of money, you absolutely can. I wouldn't recommend spray bombs, fuck any of that garbage. But if you want just a nice budget, friendly, that's a quality product, and they're all, the DTMs are all the same. I don't know if you guys realize this, but there are 5 resin companies in the world. There's 5 of them, and they all buy and sell their resins. Excuse me, they like Axo Nobel, PPG, Sherwin, and there's some other ones that I don't know about. They're India, China. They're the ones that own the resins for all this stuff. They're the chemical companies that own all this stuff. And then they sell it to the other companies that you see on the internet, like, the Restoration Shop, the TCP Globals, the Lime Lines, all of these other Amazon style, the U-Poles, all of that. They're all buying their resins from 5 worldwide companies. The shit's all the same. It's all the same shit. So anyway, the only difference in it and why some of it's more pricey is because of the amount of resins, the amount of stuff that's in it. The cheaper stuff's going to have a lot more solvents in it. You're not going to get the build. That's why I really like this V-Series stuff. It's a budget-friendly product, but it has a pile of solid resins in it. It blocks really nice and it fills really, really nice. So anyway, I don't know. I've been rambling on way too much, but I'm just going to pour off just a tiny bit of this stuff. How thick this stuff is. Look at that. I mean, it's thick. V-Series. VPS 4042. Try it. You'll like it. It's good stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I probably rambled on and all that good stuff, and hopefully you got something out of this. If you are at home, you're doing a little budget job yourself, or you're a small shop, you're just a small guy trying to make a living, and you don't really want to compete with these 6-figure, ridiculous style classic car builder guys that are out there now, and seems to be that's what everybody's going after, is those kind of people. But there's, let's see, what is it, like 2% of the wealthiest people control like 85% of the wealth. You're trying to get into the top 2%. Okay. I'd rather do some work for, the guy that works for the utility company down the road. You know what I'm saying? He's got this old truck. He wants to put some paint on it. He wants a nice job. You all heard it. I don't want a show car. I want to drive these things. If you don't want an absolute laser straight, perfectly judged, Grand National, amazing, oh my God, car show that you're going to spend 6 figures on, that you could send both your kids to college with, and you want to just do a nice driver quality, that's the product for you. Skip the epoxy. Skip all the bullshit. Skip the polyester. Skip it. Go right to that. Start sanding. Right? Tried and true. It works. It works. Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to start this channel. Like, subscribe. I don't really have the foggiest idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. So I would really appreciate comments. Comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm completely wrong. But right is something that is, everyone's got their own perception of, right? This works for me. It's been working for me for years. I've never had it come back. I've literally never had it bubble. I've never had anything happen to it. So after 30, 40 cars, I'd say it's pretty good solid system. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.